Probably should have wore a colored shirt. Is that you, Amanda? Can you really not comment? Oh, there's 3 people. Those of you that are on here, oh, there's still just one person. I'm wondering if anybody, I guess it's public on my YouTube channel. Hello. I'm gonna have to move that screen over here. That way I look at the camera when I talk. I've got there's only 2 people watching, but I've got 2 monitors. And for some reason I like to watch myself talk. So I was looking that way. I've got some school stuff going on. Those of you that are on here, we still got about 8 minutes before 1:30, and then I have not a whole lot going on. So we'll wait till we get some people on here. And then get started. Still just 2 people. There's 3 people now. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. We still got about 5 minutes. I've got a friend that is trying to find. I live in Winfield, and in Eleanor, there's a place called Red Rock that overlooks the city of Winfield. And my new thing since the coronavirus, I've been walking trails, and this one's on the trail app. It says it's really easy, but it's not easy at all. And a friend of mine's trying to find it. All right, got 4 people. Oh, I'm sorry. As you enter today's the comments. Four people. Hello. Sorry that I'm on my phone. Those of you that are here, you'll hear this twice, but I work as a school counselor, and today's been the last 2 days have been busy. Hello, Darcy. On my end, it says we have 3 people, and we got 2 minutes before we start. I'll wait a couple minutes just to see if people get on. Oh, okay, the number's climbing. 5 people. Thank you guys for having me. Again, once I start, we'll be real formal. I'll turn my phone off. No, I'm wrong. I'm not a very formal person, but we'll be more formal than me staring at my phone. I work one of my jobs. I work as a school counselor, and we had a tragic event of a one of our 8th grade students. I'm the 8th grade counselor. We're fortunate enough that we've got 3 counselors, but one of our 8th graders passed away. He had a heart condition that no one knew. He was a basketball player, and it's been a pretty tragic, sad event for all of us. So my phone is blowing up, and I don't. If a student, not the most professional thing, us being educators, but in a time of crisis like this, my phone number is public knowledge, so I've given my cell phone out to quite a few people that normally wouldn't have it. So I'm just, if I get a text message from a kid, I'll probably take it. And of course, we, as vice principals, Darcy, we've all been in those group chats that never stop. Okay, it's 1:30. We've got 10 people. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes if that's okay. Second grader, fourth grader, hello. I hope I don't mess up your guys' name, Derek and Isabella. Feel free to interact with me and ask questions once I get started. Oh, got 11 people. We'll start, if it's okay with you, Amanda, we'll start in 4 minutes. And I'd hate to get going and talking a lot about what I do and someone miss stuff. Ooh, that picture's really crooked. I gotta fix it. Welcome to my bachelor pad. I've lived in this apartment for a while. The walls are dirty. I've got 2 kids. You can see a picture of them. You can see one of them anyway. Let's see if you can see both of them. There we go. I've got a 13-year-old 8th grader and an 11-year-old 5th grader. Now my webcam and my microphone are new, so can just making sure that you guys can hear me. I think the microphone's turned up as loud as it can go, so it could be too loud, I guess. So, okay, good. We'll go 3 more minutes. We're up to 10 people. I don't know if you guys can see how many people are watching. I know it's probably not required for the classmates and everybody get on there. But those of you that are on here, if you're students, let me know what grade you're in. I'm going to do 3 or 4 magic tricks, probably teach a couple magic tricks. I'm looking around my desk to see what I have to teach magic tricks with. When I started, when I was asked to do this, I was really excited just to talk. I've kind of taken a break from magic shows, of course, with the pandemic going on. Katie, the principal. Hello, Katie. Thanks for having me. This is pretty exciting. This is actually really good practice for me, and I'll tell that in a minute why this is good practice for me. I'm jotting down notes of stuff to talk about. We got 2 more minutes and we're going to get started. We're up to 12 people. Hello, Emma and Eugene. I'm going to assume that we're okay. Yeah, last initials S. Hello. What a great time to have a sibling when we have to social distance and be in the house as much as possible. I was the only child, but I have 2 daughters, and boy, do they get on each other's nerves. Up to 13 people. This is cool. Pretty excited. If you hear me typing, I've got my email and stuff pulled up. Those of you that just got on, the teachers, I'm a 8th grade school counselor, and we've had a pretty serious event that happened over the last 2 days. So I'm trying to stay as available as possible. All right, we're going to get started. She doesn't agree that it's a great time to have a sibling because it's hard to get along when you're home all day long. All right, for the number keeps climbing. I hate to start and there be a big rush of people. I'm gonna give it 1 more minute. We're up to 14 people. This is cool. This is exciting. And then once I start, I'll run through it. Hope you guys don't think I'm wasting your time by keep putting it back, but I don't want to get into some good stuff and some middle school kids or somebody miss out. Not that I have good stuff to say, but we're going to try. All right, I'm closing out my email for the next 30 minutes. I'm turning my phone on vibrate for the next 30 minutes. I'm going to try to go for 30 minutes. Teachers, if you guys want to ask questions to keep things moving along, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hello, and welcome to my live broadcast. Sorry, I got my phone turned off on my principal text. My name's Joey Stepp. I am a counselor. I'm a middle school counselor. I work at Hurricane Middle School. I'm lucky enough that at my middle school, we have 3 counselors. For trying to put the timeline together, for the first 6 years, I was a 6th grade counselor, and I learned that 6th grade and 7th grade counselors are kind of the same. We kind of do the same stuff, and I wanted to be an 8th grade counselor to help learn about the process of going to the high school. On top of being a school counselor, I am a comedy magician, motivational speaker. Excuse me. And what does that mean? That means that I get to travel all over the place. I've been out of the country once. I did a show in Canada. Excuse me. I did a show in Canada about 2007, I think it was. Drove to Canada, stayed in Niagara Falls, Canada. I was up there for a week, performed 2 or 3 times. Sorry that I'm not directly looking at the camera, but I'm trying to keep up with some of the comments. So that's what I do. I'm a school counselor and I'm a magician. As humble as I can say it, my magic business up until the pandemic of March 13th. Thank you very much. Things are slow, and I don't know how my business is going to be affected by this. It's going to be different. Social distancing, I feel like it's going to be around for a while. So I'm forced to kind of change what I do, because a lot of my magic is interactive. I love interacting with people, and we'll get started on. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Little background about myself. I grew up in a small town. The town that I grew up in is called Warfield, Kentucky. I now live in Winfield, West Virginia. But in Warfield, Kentucky, I grew up. I had a huge desire to play sports as a kid. I was a decent football player and a wrestler. One of the words that in teachers, like, I would like for you to reemphasize this after we're done, but one of the words that I want to teach everybody, especially the younger kids and of course the middle school kids, is adversity, which is a word that I didn't know what it meant until I got to college. But my 8th grade year, my parents divorced, and of course my 8th grade year, I'm 39, so my 8th grade year, I don't know, was in I was born in 81. I was 14. Let's say 93, 94. So divorce wasn't very common. I'm currently divorced. I'm a co-parent. But my parents divorced, and I was kind of forced to live by myself. So going into my high school, first year of high school, my freshman year, I lived in a 2-story, 3-bedroom house by myself. Probably a lot of adults. There's 20 people. That's cool. Probably a lot of adults right now are saying, wow. But I was fortunate that I had sports and I had a good support system. My mom and dad were around. My mom kind of left after 2 years. She went off and did her own thing, and I didn't have a whole lot of contact with her. But my dad was around. He lived with his girlfriend and made sure that I was safe and okay for the most part. And luckily, through school and sports, I was organized enough and goal-oriented enough that I made it to Marshall. I actually played football at Marshall on a scholarship. Ended up getting a free master's degree out of it, which is how I became a counselor. During that process of getting my master's degree and becoming a school counselor, needing money, because when you live by yourself as a kid, you don't really have a whole lot of money. And when you get to college, you don't have a whole lot of people sending you money. I started working in a bar as a bartender and a bouncer. And as a bartender, I was making very good money. It was not the best lifestyle, but I was making very good money. And it was supporting me to where I could get my degree and go on to grad school and get my master's degree. Without that income, it would not have happened. Even having a full scholarship, I just wouldn't have had enough money to just day-to-day live. But as being a bartender, I saw a magician in Columbus, Ohio at Easton Shopping Center, if you've ever been to Easton. And I was inspired to learn magic, and it's been the biggest blessing, other than my 2 children. it has been the biggest blessing in my life. I will tell you that my kids are my number one blessing. Learning magic has been the number two blessing. And as crazy as it sounds, this pandemic has been the number three blessing. And we'll get to that in a little bit, about how this thing has blessed me beyond belief. Just being forced to kind of slow down and appreciate day-to-day life and not always be on the hustle and the grind. So in college, I started bartending. I started doing card tricks, making tons of money. People would come in, and I really didn't do magic shows as a bartender. I didn't really know what a magic show was. Never really saw magic as a kid, but people would come in and sit at the bar, order food, and I'd show them 2 or 3 card tricks. And then they would come back with 2 or 3 friends, and I'd show them 2 or 3 more card tricks. And it forced me to learn card trick after card trick after card trick. And then, of course, went through school, got my degree, got my master's degree in school counseling. Was a full-time magician for 6 years after I graduated. I graduated with my master's degree in 2006. And in 2011, 2012, I guess 5 or 6 years, I decided that I wanted a stable job. And it's priceless having a paycheck come in every 2 weeks and not having to worry about booking gigs and selling yourself to people, as far as, selling shows and trying to upsell and keep travel costs down, that kind of stuff. So working in the school system has been a blessing to where I don't have to worry about how many magic shows come in. Something else. The title of this, I forgot what I titled it. It was something about one of my motivational signs that I have on the wall. So you can't see it, but you see the pictures of my kids. And of course, so you guys know, this is my apartment that me and my 2 girls live in. They're with their mom today. I can't get the picture on top is a plaque from Marshall. I keep it up there to remind my kids. Both of my kids are in sports. Thank you, Amanda. Both of my kids are in sports, and that is the year that I got my scholarship. I was voted the most improved athlete on the team at Marshall, so they gave me a plaque. The one below it, the sign below it, it reads, it says, "You can't cheat the grind. It knows how much you've worked, and it knows how much you've worked and how much you've invested, and it won't give you anything that you've not worked for." And the term "the grind," a lot of motivational speakers use that. It's just day-to-day living, and working 2 jobs. I have another business that I run with some partners that I'm not really involved with, but it also takes up a little bit of time. But it's just a day-to-day life. It's, it sometimes as a teacher, it's a grind to wake up and go to work with a smile on your face. You go home from work, and then you got your kids that you have to help with homework. And then you got other things that you need to do around the house, and you go to bed and you repeat. And it's just a constant battle. But the title of the thing was having a full plate. So being a dad of 2 kids, being a co-parent is challenging enough. Having 2 kids, having a full-time job, working as a school counselor, my caseload, I think the number is about 368 8th graders that I'm responsible for. Of those students, I'm probably really responsible for about 120 that I check on every day. And then, of course, running a magic business. And for the kids that are watching, we're going to do some magic tricks in just a minute. So keep watching and try to stay as attentive as you can. I know I'm talking a lot. But so working as a magician, my day, a typical day would be that, let's say it's on a work day where I go to school. I would normally wake up about 5:45 in the morning. And this isn't every day, but these are days that I put in time away from just doing magic shows. So I'd wake up at 5:45 in the morning and check my magic show, my business email. And usually every day I have 2 or 3 emails. Someone's got a question. Someone needs an invoice for my elementary school kids. An invoice is how I get paid. I have to send a piece of paper that's telling them how much I'm requiring them to pay me in the contract. So one, it is very important that there's no mistakes on these invoices. And being someone that kind of just flies by the seat of his pants, which means that I don't really plan things out like I should. I'm not as professional as I should. I make mistakes, and these mistakes costs me more time that I have to correct. So each morning I give myself time to correct these mistakes, or even try not to make the mistakes. And then I practice a new magic trick. The hardest part about being a magician is keeping up with new magic tricks, because the constant battle of doing shows and being on the road and that kind of stuff. But anyway, I wake up pretty early. I eat breakfast. I check emails, that kind of stuff. I go to work. My work day, of course, is from 8 to 3:30, just like you guys are in school. And then sometimes during the week after school, when I get off at 3:30, I'll have to go do a magic show. I do magic shows for kids. I do magic shows for birthday parties. I've done quite a few school assemblies. My favorite thing to do is motivational shows for athletes, because of course I play ball at Marshall, and I love speaking to athletes. On a typical weekend, and again, the middle school kids and the teachers, this will mean more to you than the second, third, fourth graders. But there was a day in December while we was on Christmas break. I had shows at Snowshoe Mountain, if you're familiar with Snowshoe Mountain. And I was at their comedy club there. They hired me for a weekend. Pretty awesome. They put me up in a condo. I get free lift tickets. I don't ski. I'm too big to ski. Free lift tickets, free foods. And I performed 3 shows. Well, being busy and not really planning out my day, on the Sunday that I was at Snowshoe, I booked 2 shows in Ripley and had to wake up in Snowshoe, drive, I want to say it was 3.5 hours to Ripley. I did 2 shows in Ripley for a company. I drove 3.5 hours back to Snowshoe. I did my show that night at Snowshoe, and then I drove 3.5 hours home to Winfield. So without leaving the state, I drove 11 hours. I get paid very well to do my shows. And to do 3 shows in a day is a blessing. Even after spending the time and the money to travel, it was well worth it. But for the kids, if you've ever been to Myrtle Beach and you know how long that drive is, I drove to Myrtle Beach, which is an average of about 8 hours for all of us in West Virginia, maybe a little bit longer for some, and then another 3 hours. So it was pretty miserable. In high school, I wanted to be a truck driver. I wanted to drive cross country. So playing college football kind of did away with those dreams and aspirations. But now doing magic shows, I get to travel and see the world and that kind of stuff. I guess we can do a couple of magic tricks. I'm gonna get up and move around. Hopefully, let me know if you can't hear me. Sweet. Of course, getting older. Can someone comment? Make sure that you can hear me from back here. Where is my coloring book? Give me just a second. So normally when I perform a magic show, this is what it kind of looks like. I have this briefcase. I set the briefcase up and I perform my show out of the briefcase. This is my towel because I get hot and sweaty. There's. Cool. We can hear me. Perfect. So how do I want to do this? We're going to put they're sponge balls. They're clown noses. Like I said, you gotta be patient with me. That glare is pretty bad. I'm gonna put it in my mouth. All right, so we have 2 sponge balls. I'm gonna take it like this. I'm gonna hold this one in that hand. Hold this one in this hand. Sponge ball here. Sponge balls here. We'll call this one number 1. Then number 2. I hold number 2 like this. I wiggle number 1 like this. I throw it. And just like that, super quick, it jumps over here. We'll do that again. Number 1 goes in this hand. Number 2 goes in this hand. If I tap it 2 times, that one's gone. That one goes here. Not bad, hopefully. For my young kids, now, again, you got to remember that I said my show's super interactive. Those of you that have jumped on here that didn't hear earlier, my phone is blowing up because of something that happened at my school. And I just got to stay available. So if I look at my phone, please don't think that I'm being disrespectful. But this is a coloring book. Hello, Madison. So this is a coloring book. The problem with the coloring book that I have is all the pages are blank. Okay, there's no pages. Again, this is more of an elementary school trick. But if I take my finger and I draw shapes. So there's circles, triangles, squares, octagon, 8 sides, hexagon, 5 sides. I don't know. Yeah, 5 sides, I think. I was a math major before I became a counselor too. But anyway, so I draw a bunch of shapes. If I snap, we then have pictures. Okay. And again, I'm trying to pay attention to the glare. And then if I want to color the pictures, I take my hand like this and just wipe it like a paintbrush up and down. And then we have colored pages. Okay. And if the kids at home, okay, Madison and Isabella, and I'm trying to find Isabella's brother's name, Derek, if you guys want to hold your hand like this and just wipe it back and forth like this, I'll show you something really cool. So we have colored pictures. Okay, if you wipe it back and forth like this, and when you put your hand down, all the colors are gone and even the pictures are gone, and now we have blank pages. Cool. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so I've got a bag. Ooh, let's go down a little bit. Got a bag. Okay, there's nothing in the bag. I'll show you the bag's empty. Okay, nothing in the bag. Show you nothing like this, nothing here, nothing here. But if I take my hand, snap, and throw it in the air, I can catch it, and there's an egg. Okay, it's not a real egg, it's a wooden egg. It won't break. Because when I first started, when I was younger, I was 17, 18 years old, I used a real egg, and then a little boy at one of my shows threw it. But that's what little boys do. So I take the egg like this, I put it in a bag. If you were here, you could feel the egg. You can see the egg there. I take my hand out of the bag with the egg, nothing in the bag, put the egg in my pocket, like that. I'll show you the bag's empty again. Nothing in the bag, no egg in the bag. If I reach in my pocket without put my hand in my pocket, I take it like this, pull it out of my pocket, throw it in the air, and I catch it like that. Cool. All right. Let's go. Do we have any questions before I ramble on and talk some more? Let's give you guys some time. I've got 23 text messages from my coworkers. So I'm going to give you guys some time. Teachers, if you got kids with you, parents, if you got kids with you, if they have questions, let them ask questions. One, let me say this, and I got to make a note because I want to tell you guys something. Thank you for doing this for me. And I say that because this is good practice. One, it's really weird to watch myself do magic tricks in live time. I've been asked by a lot of people have wanted to hire me to do something like this and do magic shows for birthday parties that are being canceled because of the pandemic. But since March 13th, I've canceled. The last time I counted, it was 28 shows. And as humble as I can say it, as 28 shows, that's a lot of money for me. But it's been the biggest blessing in the world. And I said it earlier that I've got three biggest blessings. This is off the top of my head. It's not really putting a lot of thought into it. Ms. McDonald, I'll get to that question in just a second. I'm sorry that I'm rambling, but I want people to hear this. I said my kids were my number one blessing. From when I was in not high school, well, yeah, maybe high school. I knew I wanted to be a dad, and it's the biggest blessing in the world. And my 13-year-old, and that picture, they're younger than they are now. My 13-year-old, when she was 6 years old, I said, "Baby, thank you for letting me be your dad." No, I said I'm super lucky to be your dad, and she said, "I'm super lucky to be your daughter." And I asked her what she thought about Daddy as a parent, and she said that she thought that God had kids. This is how she thought that kids were given to parents. Try not to cry. I'm a crier. She said that God had kids, and when he found the perfect parents, he gave those kids to the parents. Now, growing up the way that I grew up, and I love my parents. My mom's passed away. She's been passed away for 13 years. I wish that I had a better relationship with my mom before she passed away, but sometimes that happens. My dad, he's my rock now. Since being divorced, he's been more of a father than he ever was. Of course, those of you that were on here earlier heard about me living by myself through high school. Now, he's always been my supporter. I don't want you to think that I was just out on my own, but that I didn't have anybody around. He was around when he needed to be. But he's been my rock through the last 6-7 years after my divorce. But I would not say that I had perfect parents. My life was chaotic, and a lot of our kids, and some kids that are a lot of our kids in the world don't have perfect parents, and that's okay. But as a parent, we got to try our best. We got to do our best, and we got to realize that once we have kids, our life is not about us; it's about our kids. So I said that my kids were my number one blessing. My number two blessing was learning magic shows, and I say that because when I got divorced, I moved into this apartment. I think that's my third couch that I had. I'm a big guy. You guys saw that I'm a big guy. I'm right around 400 pounds. I break couches. I wear furniture down. But when I moved into this apartment, my kids live about 1.5 miles away with their mom when they're at their mom's, and I got an apartment close because I wanted to be the best co-parent that I could be. And I'll be here until my kids. I'll either buy a house in Putnam County, which probably won't happen because I have dreams of moving away to a bigger city and performing magic shows after my kids grow up. So I don't know that I'll buy a house yet, but I'll always be close to my kids. But when I moved into this apartment, I had no furniture. I lost a fortune in my divorce, and there were times where trying to be careful with the way that I talk. I'm a Christian and I pray a lot. But there were times when I would sit in this apartment and not have a couch and only had a chair. And I would pray because I needed money to help raise my kids. And my phone would ring off the hook the next day booking magic shows. I talked a little bit about what a day is like in booking shows. There's days where I can book 5 to 6 shows. There's days where I've booked 10 shows in one day, which is super exciting, but it's busy. My third blessing that I talked about was this pandemic. And how has this pandemic been a blessing to me? And I kind of feel guilty saying that because I have friends that are affected by this, and it's tragic for a lot of people. A lot of people are out of work. Lives have changed. Kids are out of school, just like in my middle school. I'm heartbroken that we're not in school. We, those of you that may not have heard earlier, because the number keeps jumping up and down of the viewers, but we had an 8th grade student pass away with a cardiac issue. He had a heart issue, and he was one of our basketball players and baseball players. And it breaks my heart that I'm not at school with my students, just being available. This morning, I spent about 2 hours calling a bunch of 8th graders that we put on a list of at-risk students that would be, like teammates, that kind of stuff. But this is a hard time for a lot of people. But for me personally, since March 31st, I think I said the number was 28. It's 25 to 30 shows that I've canceled. For the first time in my life, really, I've taken a step back and slowed down. For the first time since I left for college, I'm sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night. I'm eating 3 meals. I've not had fast food since all this started on the 13th. Now my children eat Taco Bell about once a week. That's their favorite restaurant, and that's kind of their treat. But other than that, I mean, I'm a terrible cook. Growing up in high school by yourself, you don't learn to cook very well. But I've been cooking, been grilling out, been home more. Like I said, there was a day that I drove 11 hours without leaving the state, and that's kind of what my weekends were. For the longest time, this apartment was just a place to sleep, and a place that me and my kids would come after picking them up from school, going and doing a magic show, coming home, taking baths, doing homework, going to bed, occasionally go outside and pass softball. But now I've got to slow down, and it's really shown me to appreciate some things. Don't know that I'm going to try to overbook myself like I've been doing. I'm truly worried about the way entertainment's going to be perceived once all this kind of slows down. Hopefully things go back to as normal as possible. Miss McDonald, do you have a favorite famous magician or a TV show about magic? Yes. favorite TV show is Penn and Teller Fool Us. Penn and Teller Fool Us. Um, sorry. Um, I thought it was going to be an important text message. It's called Penn and Teller Fool Us. It's the most real magic show that's on TV. Unfortunately, with TV, a lot of people edit things. A lot of people stage things. So, like your kids, um, I forgot the brother and sister. So, like Isabella and I got to scroll up, and Derek could stage it to where Isabella says, "Derek, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to read your mind. I'm going to tell you anytime I tell you to think of a number, you think of the number 33. So anytime they're in public, and if people don't know their brother and sister, she can do that. And of course, she's always going to get it right. And people aren't. And Derek writes it on a piece of paper or something, and gives it to a stranger, and she's like, "Oh, he's thinking of 33." A lot of things. There's 17 people watching, so hopefully everybody has an adult around. Um, I want you to think of a playing card. Okay, so playing cards are hearts, spades, diamonds, or clubs. Hearts, spades, diamonds, or club, and think of any one of the cards. Okay, and I'm going to give you 30 seconds. You don't have to tell your card in the chat. Give you 30 seconds. No, that's too long. Let's give you 15 seconds, 5 more seconds. Think of a card. I'm going to guess two cards. Oh no. All right. It said that we had to reconnect. Hopefully I'm back. Um, but so I want you to think of a playing card, heart, spades, diamonds, or clubs. And we're talking about TV magic shows, and everybody's thinking of a card. And the two cards that I'm going to guess, somebody in the crowd out of 17 people, they're thinking of the ace of spades or the queen of hearts. Now, it's possible that out of 17 people that I got that wrong, but it's also possible that I got that right, because studies have shown that the majority of men think of the ace of spades and the majority of women think of the queen of hearts. If we're on TV and I get it wrong, we just edit it out and no one sees it. And we do it over and over and over until we get it right. As far as my famous magician, he's not famous to anybody that doesn't know magic tricks. But I just lost his name. John Archer. John Archer is a guy from, I want to say he's from England, I think. Nope, not me. That's okay. We'll edit it out. But I think he's from New England, from England. Real funny guy, kind of the same build as me, and just really liked him. I do love David Copperfield. He's a super famous. He's the famous entertainer in the world. He's one of the highest paid entertainers in the world as well. He came to Charleston about 10 years ago. All right, so we've been doing this for quite a while now. I am going to, I said heart. I guess we can do a couple more magic tricks and then do some more questions, I guess. But I said this earlier too, but I really want to say it again to all the teachers that are here and the students that are here. This has been a huge help for me. This isn't easy doing magic on a webcam, but if this thing keeps going longer, I may actually have to do some magic shows through webcam. I said it earlier, but I'm going to just say it again. I've had a bunch of people ask to hire me. A lot of kids' birthday parties are canceled, that kind of stuff. And if you're a kid listening and your birthday party got canceled, don't be bummed out. You're living through history, and I can't say that enough. Like this, we are going to seven of clubs. Some people think of the seven of hearts as well. David Blaine is a magician who says that he can, by the way that he tells you to think of it, he can manipulate you into picking a certain card. But again, he's a TV guy that if he gets it wrong, he just cuts it out. Sorry, my kid's mom sent a text. Whatever you need. That was easier than texting. Sorry. But Sorry, I don't remember where I was at. I was rambling and about doing magic shows. And I decided that taking my break, I wasn't going to do any shows. And it's been 4 weeks without magic shows or interacting, and I miss it. I miss seeing kids smile. I miss making adults smile. I miss sharing my story. I miss talking about how prideful I am of just being a dad. I miss it. So today has forced me. I've not picked up a magic trick. I've not practiced a magic trick since March 13th, and it's been fun. It's been fun not to think about, but I appreciate you guys for doing this. I appreciate you guys for forcing me to carry my box in. I should have said this earlier. So my magic show, this is my briefcase. That's what it is. It's a briefcase and my table. If you can see my table legs, I worked at a restaurant doing magic, walking around doing magic, and a manager gave it to me. It's old, it's falling apart, but it kind of has, I don't know, like it just has some value to me, and I've not found one that I like to change. The big briefcase in the back of the rolling briefcase is what I keep all my stuff in. That's my magic show. I can go to any place with any crowd, with any age, and perform with that stuff. Excuse me. I've kind of made my show. I've done talk about who and what I've performed for. I've been in living rooms before where I've performed for five kids and adults, 5 to 10 people. I've been in front of halftime shows where there's 7,000 people. I kind of have made my show to where I can do it for small crowds and large crowds, and kind of made myself more valuable in that kind of sense. A lot of magicians have a backdrop. I have a backdrop, and I almost put it up, but I guess I'm just too lazy to put it up. Like I said, this is the first time that I've opened my magic case since March 13th, or probably the day before. I think I had a show the day before March 13th on that Thursday. But I found an old lime in my case. It's got things smelling pretty bad. So I appreciate you guys for forcing me to get the stuff out and get working. But I will it in by myself. When I have my kids get $20 a piece to help set up and take it down. That's how they pay for their cell phone bill. They both have to pay me $40 a month for their cell phone. Let's do another magic trick. Let's do this one. Now again, most of my tricks that I do are interactive, and I miss having the interaction with the kids. So again, those of you that are watching, we're getting ready to do a magic trick. Again, play along. You don't have to say it out loud, but I want you to think what this is. That's a jar of jelly. And other than a jar of jelly, I have peanut butter. Okay, the label's kind of ripped off the peanut butter. I need to fix that. And again, I do, before this pandemic, I've done this show at least 5 times a weekend, and I never realized how bad that peanut butter looks without being able to see it on live TV. So another thing, this has been a huge blessing for me and a huge help. But anyway, I've got peanut butter. I've got jelly. I've got peanut butter. The trick is I can make them switch places. I'm gonna make the peanut butter jump from here to here, the jelly jump from here to here. All I do is tap it 2 times. And then when I look, that becomes the jelly. That becomes the peanut butter. I can make them switch back. And that's now the jelly. That's now the peanut butter. Now this is a moment, adults, this is a moment where all the kids, if we're doing a school assembly, they're all, it didn't switch, it didn't switch. It doesn't switch. Okay, so that's always the jelly, that's always the peanut butter. The trick is I pretend to make it switch. That's always peanut butter, over here is always jelly. It's always peanut butter here, always jelly over there. It never switches. And then they start screaming, oh, it's the peanut butter that switched. No, it never switches. That's always peanut butter. I'm sorry, that's always jelly. I keep calling it wrong because it's flip-flopped on my screen. So that's the jelly. That's the peanut butter. I tap it 2 times there, 2 times there. That can now be peanut butter, and that's nothing. There's nothing under. That's weird. Where'd it go? It used to be peanut butter. There's the peanut butter, and that's the jelly. Okay, so again, that's the jelly. That's the peanut butter. Always jelly over here. Always peanut butter over there. Let me know in the comments if the kids like that. That's kind of wild. And notice why I need to fix my labels. These 2 are supposed to look the same, but of course over the years they've messed up. Hopefully the kids are thinking, oh my goodness, there's 2 peanut butters. No, there's really no peanut butter. It's showing you how the trick works. The peanut butter is hollow, and there used to be a jelly in this one too, but I broke it. I need to go out and buy another one. So those fit over top of it, and when I lift it, I can make it switch by squeezing and showing you the jelly, or letting go and showing you the peanut butter. Very cool. Do another one. But like I said, comment if the kids like that one in the comment box, please. Going to do one of my favorite tricks. Going to do this one kind of different than normally would. Normally I'd bring a teacher up and do this. You probably can't see the numbers on the cups, and that's okay. Maybe you can. No, there's too much of a glare. But anyway, the cups are numbered. We're going to call this 1, this 2, this is 3. I'm going to take some of my kids call it Daddy's water. It's the sparkling water from Walmart. But I'm going to pour some water in this cup. And we're going to play a game. Okay, it's going to be follow the cup of water. The cup of water is here. These cups are empty. If I take the cup of water, pour in this cup, and hopefully you can see that pouring in there. I'll stand in front of it. Okay, no water in this cup. I turn that cup upside down. The water is now in this cup, which is labeled number 3. I switch them like this. I switch them like this. I switch them like this. Hopefully you think the water is in this cup. I pour the water. Yeah, you can see that. Pour the water in the middle cup. Turn both cups upside down except for the middle cup. I switch them like this. Hopefully the kids are thinking the water is in that cup. I switch them again. Switch these two. Switch these two. Switch these two. Buying myself some time because I've never used the sparkling water. Usually when I'm out doing a show, I stop at a gas station and get a water. But the day I wasn't on the road, so these two, these two, these two, turn this upside down, keep following the water. Not sure that this is going to work. Couple more seconds. Okay, it's not going to work. So now I get to tell you how this trick works. Parents, you can do this at home, but apparently it's not going to work with the sparkling water. Give me a second to clean up. And parents, you will appreciate how this is going to be a learning situation for all the kids. So, sit back down. Got some comments. Yes, we loved it. Jaw dropped here. Very cool. Thank you very much. Makes me feel good. All right. So that trick was a fail. Okay. And your kids know that word because YouTube videos, they use the word fail all the time. Well, not now. Should have waited a little bit longer. That's the cup that had the water in it. I knocked it over. Some of it spilled out. So here's what this is. You can go on Amazon and there is snow powder, which you put in the cup. And when you pour water in the cup, it makes it come out like snow. Pretty cool. Big crystals. Sorry. What I have is multi-purpose. Now, don't spread this all over Facebook. This is one of my, I'm known for this trick, but since I messed up, I'm different than most magicians because I'm an educator, because I'm in the school system. I like for kids to learn. And just like Stacy said that there were jaw drops there. I hope that there's a time in my life that I inspire kids to get into magic and get in just anything that they want to do. Anything they want to do. And if it's me showing a magic trick and how a magic trick works, I'm okay with that. So anyway, so the trick is that this number 2 cup had this powder in it. And again, thank you for doing this because I realized that I need to order more powder. But I get it off Amazon. You put the powder in. When you pour water or any type of liquid in, after a certain time, it becomes a solid. And the best way to describe it is kind of like a Blizzard from Dairy Queen, that when you turn it over, it doesn't come out. Okay, and if you look, I don't know that you can see. Ooh, the glare is, I just bought this webcam for this. The webcam has a circle light, like a selfie. That's where the glare comes from. But inside, and of course my TV, my monitor. But there's water in the cup. With the gel, it's turned solid, and it just, because it's the sparkling water, it took a lot longer than I wanted to. And because I'm not interacting with the crowd, 2 minutes seems like 5 minutes. But then when you turn it over, there's nothing there. But let's see if I can. There we go. So basically, it's a big gel powder. Parents, it's non-toxic, but you don't want to have your kids flushing it down the drain. It will clog your drains. Let's go. Let's see. If you've got a sibling in diapers, you can get the powder by cutting. Very well, you can. Thank you for saying that, Amanda. Old school magicians, that's how they came up with the powder. A lot of diapers now have more of a cloth, but it's the same concept. You can glue the cloth to the bottom of a cup, just with super glue or hot glue or something like that, and do it. If you go, shameless plug, you guys can go to Facebook, and so and talking about having a lot on my plate again. I don't even think I talked about that, but having a full plate. I've got a sign up here that says, boy, talk about being distracted. I was talking about the signs that I have in my house. I got a sign above my office desk and my computer, and it says, I can't cry about having a lot on my plate when my goal was to eat. Again, that's something for older kids, but even us parents, I've got goals. I like to live a lifestyle where I spend quite a bit of money. I love to travel. I love taking my kids places. I love going to Disney World. I love to live life. And again, the thought of being home a lot was scary for me when this pandemic started, but it's been a big blessing. But that's why the YouTube live video was called having a full plate. I have a full plate. I'm a dad. I got a magic business. I got another business. I work in the school system. I'm busy. I'm the busiest guy that I know, minus the last 4 weeks. And I'm the most blessed guy that I know. I got another one up here that says, I got to be careful. Some of them have bad words. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people would not, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people would not. I got in my girls' room. There's a motivational picture that's it's a lion cub, and it's looking in water, and the reflection of the water is a big tiger, and it says mindset is everything. Students and adults, I'm here to tell you that you don't always have to be the smartest person in the room. Okay, I struggled through school. I got through high school without being able to read on a very high level. I went back. My school's switched buildings twice, so there's no inactive files, which of course schools get rid of inactive files. But I was in resource reading. I was in resource math. I was in 097 math and 097 language arts when I got to college. But I was in resource reading all the way through high school. When I got to college, I had two study specialists tell me two study specialists tell me that I would never graduate because my memorization skills were so bad and my reading skills were so low. Memorization skills, playing football, I've had a lot of concussions. Football was a big part of my life. I wouldn't say that I wish I didn't play football and I wish I didn't play sports. I just wish I'd have taken care of myself more through college and through the years of trying to pursue a professional career. Some of you guys may have the question, why didn't you go pro? I get that asked a lot. My joke is always, well, I really wanted to be a school counselor. No, I just didn't make it. And sometimes you don't make it. Sometimes you don't make the team, and sometimes you're not the best. And sometimes things just don't work out. And sometimes bad things happen to good people. You don't really know why these things happen. Just like the 8th grade student that passed away. I said that a couple of times. Some of you may be on here that didn't hear that, but one of my 8th grade students collapsed in his driveway playing basketball. He was a star athlete, good basketball player, great basketball player, good baseball player. I was excited to watch him grow up and play sports. He and I have had multiple conversations on what it takes to be a college athlete. And sometimes you just don't know. He had a heart condition that no one knew about and passed away. But things happen, life happens, adversity happens, and you got to kind of just regroup and overcome it. Those students that are watching, the parents that are watching, like, this has been a huge shakeup for a lot of school systems, every school system. I'm sitting in my living room doing a live video, and I have went much longer than I thought I was going to. But you just step back and you overcome, and you do the best you can. So the numbers are dropping because, of course, I've been on here for an hour when I thought I was only going to be on here for 20 or 30 minutes. I will close with this. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I have enjoyed it tremendously. Sorry that I've rambled so long. I didn't plan on rambling so long. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed a few magic tricks. Those of you that are still watching, I will show you. I want to teach you this magic trick. I should have did this when we had a bigger crowd. Just a ruler. You can use a ruler. You can use an ink pen, whatever. And I'm going to stay seated so I know you can see me. I'm going to hold it like this. If I let go of the ruler, it's going to fall. Okay, that's what it does. It's gravity. But I can cheat gravity if I squeeze my hand and squeeze it really tight and let go of all my fingers. The roller stays. Okay, again, without squeezing my hand and I let go, it's going to drop. But if I squeeze my hand, I squeeze my wrist, I put my fingers out straight, put my thumb out, and then open my fingers, I can make it stay. Well, the way that I make it stay is I'm holding it with my finger. Okay, so parents, and they're going to try this. Your young kids are going to try this, and it's going to wear you out. And they're going to say, Dad, watch. Mom, watch. Hey, watch. You have to have the audience in front of you. So you guys are in front of me. You got to stand sideways like this so they can't see behind your hand, and simply just grab your wrist, but use your first finger and put it up and hold that. I'm going to end with this. I'm going to end in the next minute. You're welcome. The teachers and the parents that are on here still, and if the teachers want to send out an email, we're on YouTube. And I'm old enough that I remember when YouTube first came out, and I wish that I would took advantage of YouTube and posted a lot of the videos and kind of my journey. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I'd probably be making a lot of money. But YouTube, some of you guys may disagree with that, and that's okay that you disagree with that. But as far as kids go today, 75% or greater of our kids have a cell phone or a tablet or some device to get online. And even those that don't have it at home have access to it on a normal living environment. They have access to the internet. YouTube is the greatest resource that is not being used. My kids, because they go back and forth between their mother and I, their mother isn't the best help with homework. Okay, and of course, math homework is hard for parents nowadays. And like I said, I was a math major before I decided to switch and be a counselor. Some of the math homework's hard for me. But if these kids get on YouTube and type in what they're trying, like how to add and subtract fractions, how to multiply fractions, how to find the area of a room, you can even type in, hello, Jill. It's okay. I'm kind of finishing up. I guess I can make this public that people can rewatch it. But YouTube, when we were kids, we being the ones that remember the Dewey Decimal System and the library and that kind of stuff, the public library used to be the greatest resource for the community. You go to the library and you look up information and you get encyclopedias. And I'll never forget the door-to-door guy coming by and my dad buying an encyclopedia set. And he was so proud that he bought his son an encyclopedia set. Well, now these kids can Google things and find all the information that they want. And most of us in today's world, being visual learners, you can get on YouTube and learn anything. I live in this apartment. I have a landlord. My landlord will come and fix anything that I ask him to come and fix. But I decided that I need to start learning how to do stuff so I can teach my kids how to do stuff. So I YouTube it. I fixed my dishwasher. I fixed my washing machine. I replumbed underneath my sink. Just all from YouTube videos. Like it's absolutely insane. So those of you kids that want to learn magic tricks, I challenge you. I ask for you, parents, let them get on YouTube and just type in easy magic tricks. Now, side note, asterisk, you have to be careful that some things on YouTube aren't filtered and you can find bad language. And, there's cruel and mean people out in the world. So parents, of course, watch the video first, but you'll find a YouTube channel that teaches magic tricks, easy magic tricks. Teaching another one just because I'm inspired. Yes. Very good. Crash course. I'll have to check that out. So I got an ink pen. And again, you guys will laugh at this, but it is unbelievable how much it fools people. I'm going to touch it right here. I'm going to touch it 3 times. And on the 3rd time, it's going to disappear. Trying to stay in frame. So that's 1. That's 2. 3. It's gone. See, it's gone. It never comes back. It's absolutely gone. No, it's in my ear. So again, I'll show you again, teaching you guys the trick. Take it like this. I'm looking to see if I have another ink pen to show it, like do an actual hard magic trick. So it's like this. 1, 2, on 3, I leave it in my ear. And of course you can see it there, but I got to turn my head this way so no one can see it. I benefit from having a big noggin. I'm going to end the stream with this. I said it earlier. I'm going to say it again. Guys, those of you that are students that are still watching, the number went from 8 back up to 12, which is pretty cool. I guess some people may have got disconnected. You do not have to be the smartest person in the room to be successful. You do not have to have the most skill in math to be successful. If you are not a very good reader, I challenge you to practice reading every day. Parents, one of the things that I talk about in my motivational shows is one of the greatest skills that we learn as humans is two of them. There is how to walk and how to tie our shoes. Because when we're babies and we learn to walk, we don't quit the first time we fall. Of course, your kids don't know that. They don't remember that. And we don't think about it, but they keep walking until they get it. When our kids were 5 years old and we taught them how to tie their shoes, some of them were motivated to the point where they just practiced until they got it. And some it took a little bit more encouragement. But the thing is, every day we're practicing and getting better. I love talking to high school kids, and I ask them, how do you think you were when you learned how to tie your shoes? And someone will say, oh, I was probably 6. Well, now you're 18. For 12 years, you've been tying your shoes. You're probably pretty good at it. Well, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's magic, if it's reading, if it's writing, if it's math, if it's jump rope, if it's juggling, whatever it is, if we practice for 12 years, we're going to get good at it. I mentioned that I was a very poor reader through high school. I struggled to get through college because I was a poor reader, and it was in grad school after I had my first child that I realized that I needed to teach myself how to read. How did I teach myself how to read? Even back then, I got on YouTube and watched videos and Googled, like Google things to read and comprehension and all this stuff. Someone earlier, I forgot to say it. Comprehension is a hard word for me to say. Someone is, hopefully she's still on here. Someone is a speech teacher. I'm sorry, a speech therapist. Emily, I'm going to say your last name wrong. Coben, maybe, at West Preston. I had a speech therapist when I was a kid. I was tongue-tied, and I was like 6 years old when they realized I was tongue-tied. I lived in a holler in Kentucky, and we didn't go to the doctor a whole lot. And so you'll appreciate this story, Emily. So I was tongue-tied. I was born, I was tongue-tied, and of course, I don't know what it's called, but my daughter had the same thing. My top lip was kind of attached to my teeth, my gum and my teeth, but I was also tongue-tied. And I've had speech issues my entire life. When I was a sophomore in high school, I decided to quit taking speech, that I would just find a way to make it work. Had problems with my S's and my T's, but I learned to adapt. And like girl is a hard word for me to say. So instead of saying girl when I was in high school, I would say lady. And it was weird to people to hear me say, well, that lady over there, talking about a high school kid. But that's what we do. We just overcome and adapt. We're all different, and we're all different because that's what makes the world spin. What else? I don't know. I think that's it. I could go on forever. I'm really enjoying this. I wish my kids were here. It'd have been much more chaotic if my kids are here. But we do Facebook Lives on my Facebook page at Joey Step. And I also have my Facebook business page and Instagram and all that stuff is Joey Step Magic. So if your kids have Facebook or Instagram, they can go on there and do that. And thank you so much for having me. I hope you guys have a great day and stay safe and be the good in the world. You guys have a great day.